Good morning. We're going to show a little bit of techniques on how to do some stuff on a 94 Ford Ranger. So this is the 4-cylinder, and I've already done a couple other projects, but I was looking online trying to see information if anybody's got any easy ways to work on things. And quite frankly, it was very lacking. This is another project I'm going to show, but today what we're going to show is the coolant system, how to remove and replace the fan clutch, which is not as difficult as everybody thinks if you just use your head a little bit. I took the front clip off. This is for my daughter. That'll be another video, but we're going to show how to do the whole cooling system in a 94 Ford Ranger. And that's the pizza. All right, first things first, make sure you disconnect the battery, because you're going to have your fingers all in there. So we're going to show how to take that out without losing your mind. Next thing you also do is make sure that you put proper safety so that your vehicle does not roll where you don't want it to. All right, so let's get right into it. Take the cap off and drain that nasty stuff by taking that off first. So let's see if I can get a little bit better view. So we're going to get that clamp right off. I've loosened it up a little bit. Let's get it started. The key to it is just a long extension. We'll get you in there, so I'll show you that in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to back this out a little bit. And let's see if we can give her the old wiggle. Let's see if I can get a better position for this camera. This is the part of me that does not shine. Technology, man. Let's see if we can get this figured out. 1 second. See, all right, let's hold it. And there it went. And now it's being properly captured in a tote that you place down there. Let's take a look at that real quick. And so it's our responsibility to properly capture all of this kind of stuff. So now we're gonna show what we're gonna do next. Okay, next clamp. This is a 5/16, and I like to use the ratchets because it's just so much easier. You got plenty of rotations to take it off. So you want to make sure that you loosen these clamps enough where that they will easily slide over and around the hose like that. All right, to kind of give it a little. Okay, now this is where you gotta pay attention, because it's gonna, a little bit will drip, and at least you will capture it below. So almost there, nothing. So then we can just get that up out of the way from our working space. We're gonna have to remove that. And oops, that bolt. And so let's just get right to it. We got to get that shroud, but the next thing we're going to have to do is get those bolts out. that have less than an inch of space between the fan and the body of that we got to get out. So I'm going to back this thing up and hopefully properly capture how to easily get this, because if you put a wrench on there, I believe this is 10 mil. We're going to check that out in a second, but it'll just turn the whole belt assembly. All the belt will turn. So I'm going to show you how to kind of handle that real quick. Screwdriver, wedge it down in between, and a ratchet wrench, 10 mil, and that's all you need. Alright, now that your bolts are off, you should be able to work this off. Let me see if I can get that captured or not. You just gotta kind of wiggle it back and forth. See if I can get that focus a little better. Here we go. And there it went. Okay. So now you can kind of put that in the shroud. And what I would recommend is now put a bolt back in your pulley assembly. Let's see if I can back this up a little bit to show that it pitches on an angle. Let me see if I can capture that or not. Yeah, so what we're going to do is just drive one of these bolts back in here like so. And now that the fan is out of the way, we'll have much better access to getting this right here. Let's see if I can pop that up. One thing about mechanics is you learn how to use everything you got in weird ways. Okay. Driving on home. Tight. Straightens out that pulley a little bit, and then see, now it's back to being straightened out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and undo that bolt and that one, and we'll show you what was next. Okay, now that you've got these two bolt assemblies out of here, you can be able to, with your fan and your shroud, should be able to pull this up slowly and pull that out. The next part we're going to do is we're going to focus on the tranny lines, which are right here and all the way down below there. We will focus in and get a little bit better angle. But so the key here is first of all, use the right size tools. Okay, so once you remove the overflow tube, the overflow hose, which is right here, now you want to loosen that. Okay, this is a 5/8 and 3/4. This is your 5/8. Another identical wrench, 3/4. It is very important that you use both of these so that you don't strip and bend and break your line. What you can do is hold this one, and this one you're going to go lefty-loosey. Okay, so counterclockwise. It takes a little bit, but as you can see, some people didn't use the right wrench or have it all the way on there, and once that's completely stripped, kind of trouble. Okay, I don't take it all the way out until I pretty much have the lower one, which we will come down and show a different angle. So let's go ahead and go down to that one there and see if we can get a better angle on that. 1 second here. Sorry folks, I'm not a cameraman, but let's see if we can get a little bit better shot. Okay. Repeat process. Lefty-loosey, counterclockwise. This one's really rounded, so we're going to be very careful. I pre-soaked this with penetrant spray to make sure that this would break loose. I highly recommend to do that to all nuts and bolts screws that needs to be unfastened. Alright, so got that just about done. You can back that out. You're going to have fluids and stuff come out. Look at that. I don't know where this camera's at here, but that is nasty, nasty stuff. Let me see if we can get that to focus better. It's very dirty. So let's go ahead and let me see if I can back this out now and show what we're going to do with both of them right here. They're both kind of leaking. I got something capturing it below. So let's unthread that one. Wow. That's not good. Gonna have to flush that all out. So tranny's definitely gonna have to have some service done to it, and this is a good way to find that out. I'll show in a better picture, a still picture of what the fluids look like. So let's go ahead. Why does it keep changing? That's weird. I'm sorry about that. All right, so what we're gonna do next is undo the bolt up here and up here to, let's see if we can show it right there. That is your next bolt that we will do next. Okay, now that you've got this bolt out and the other bolt along the top, pay attention to this rubber fitting gasket here, how it goes on, because you will have to reuse this. It goes down there, okay? So pull that off, put that aside. This should be able to pull out of there. So let's Let's see if I can hold this and show that without, and pull it right out, and there she is. Okay, hold on a second. A little spillage. She didn't want. Okay, so this was leaking on, I'm pretty sure this was the culprit area. So this is what it looks like with all your stuff out of the way, prepped and ready. All right, now you have to have a new radiator. And there she is. So let's take a closer look. Okay, one thing I want to show is they have the plugs for the tranny lines. So you actually got to put the sleeves in there. And that was the area of the other one we can show. But they included brand new ones with the thread sealant already on there. So you just got to properly install it into those two guys here. It's gonna have to look like these here. So let's show that. Okay, make sure that you lower the radiator in carefully so that you don't mar and mess up all those beautiful newly made, so the lines will give you a little grief. And that one down there, so you'll just have to wiggle them around and get them in your way. And you're going to make sure that you line up. There's 2 holes in rubber boots down there that these you got to put in. And once you slide it in there, you'll see that the only way it goes is just so then you make sure that your stuff lines up, and go ahead and put that stuff back together. Okay, once you've got it in and you've got your 2 top bolts tightened up here, then you're going to start putting your tranny lines on. And I always like to start with the bottom one because it's a little bit more difficult to get to. So if you have any issues, it shouldn't be too bad. So let's get on that. Okay, so one of the things that you got to pay attention to is lining these things up straight. I don't know if you can tell from that camera angle, but it's... Okay, you're going to guide your line in. This one, it's definitely at an angle. What's this one? Both of them are at an angle. Something's not right. Okay, so I'm going to look and find out what's going on. Okay, it's been a while since I worked on all this stuff. Very long time, actually. One of the things that sometimes these do is these lines are pre-bent and they don't have much give, and if you try to like fight them, they're gonna break. So sometimes you have to take the bolt, don't bolt these, but get the lines on first. And so I always start on the bottom one, and that one's out stripped as well. So I wanted to take my time and make sure I got in there and by hand really get it started to thread. So it should be, let's see if I can. So once you know you've got it started, you go, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to get this one lined up as well. All right, so finally, for sure, I thought I had that already started, but it's definitely in there now. Was not. I actually had to unbolt it all the way out. Here's the hole for the alignment. wants to focus, that we're going to set the radiator down. Those pins on the bottom of the radiator will go in there. So let me see if I can do that while I'm filming. I'm not sure. Let's see if we can get that other side there. There it goes. That one in there. And all you'll know is if that lines up. There we go. All right. Okay, now that your lines are installed and tightened, right here and down there, go ahead and fasten your bolts right here and the one on the other side. Reinstall the rubber piece here so it doesn't damage, and make sure you've got your clips on there to hold the shroud down. So now we're going to take that bolt that was just holding the wheelie square, take that back out and get ready to slide the shroud and the fan back on in and bolt it on. Alright, now is where you start your bolts and draw them in. Try to straighten this out, and if you go clockwise, as you tighten it up, it'll turn until the next bolt needs to be tightened up. So this is the last one here. And these are always fun to try to get in, but let's see if I can get it from this side. There's a line and stuff there. No. Switch hands. And that's what happens a lot. Alright, so now you pull the old clips off of the old radiator here and use your screws and that one there and that here with an 8mm and go ahead and tighten her up. Okay, make sure before you start filling that you check to make sure that the drain valve is closed. So that'll be located on the lower right hand side, which would be your driver's side from this position. So it's located on the right side. Here's your top hose. Make sure that's tightened up. And go over and make sure and look at all your lines. Make sure everything is tightened up. Make sure everything's straight. Check your clamps. So make sure that I look to make sure there's no gaps in between that fan clutch assembly and the pulley. And I rotated it completely around so I could see that alignment, full rotation. I checked the fan, turn it by hand just to make sure it's not hitting anything. Okay, you don't want to find out when it's running, tearing everything apart. So made sure that this is all flush, it's tight, bolts are tight. So now, moment of truth, let's go ahead and get some fluid in it. Alright, so after filling it up somewhat, you're going to let it run. Check your lines and make sure there's no leaks coming out of them. You always reach all the way around all sides just to make sure. It's going to have to get to operating temperature before that'll start flowing inside of there, but there's more fluid needs, but seems good. Okay, so we've let it run quite a while. It's definitely up to operating temperature and there's no water flow. That's what you want to check. It's not doing that. And it's just, so it looks like we got to take all that apart and replace the water pump.